What's up, guys? Welcome to your 134th Android tutorial for the new Boston, where we're going to learn about AlertDialog. A little bit more in depth, not much more, but a little bit. And that's where we're going to create a dialog that pops up on the screen if, again, they hold down their finger for longer than a second and a half. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our AlertDialog within this bracket here, and also display it, get everything going there. So first we need to set up our AlertDialog. So we're going to just say AlertDialog, and we're going to call this alert, something like that. Pretty standard there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say new alert dialog, and then we say dot builder. We give it a context. We want to refer to our main class, not our touchy class. So we're going to say main dot this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say dot create, and that's going to create it. Right now it doesn't really hold anything, it's not really well defined, but that's what we're going to get to here. So now we're just going to refer to our alert, and we're just going to say dot set the title, and whatever our title is, like pick something, pick an option, and then that's the title. We also want to add like a body or a message to it. So we're going to say alert.set message, and we're going to set this equal to I told you to pick an option, man. So something like that. I don't know. It's getting too late for me, guys. I told you to pick an option. And there we go. We have our body, and now what we want to do is we want to have a few buttons. So all we're going to do is we're going to say alert.setButton. Go figure, right? Then we have to set the button's text, so we're going to say place a pinpoint, and then we need to create a listener. But what we want to do is refer to the dialog interface for this on ClickListener. So we're going to say new dialog interface, and we're going to say on ClickListener, and just hit enter, and it sets it up for you. This is kind of, this is pretty much a similar layout as when we use our ClickListener before. Before we'd use like the view instead of the dialog interface, but since we're working with the alert dialog, we want the dialog interface dot on ClickListener, and then here we go. We have our on ClickListener, and what we're going to do is we're going to basically set up our methods for placing a pin point, and that's for the first button. But we want more than one button, so I'm just going to copy this whole chunk of code here for our alert.setButton. Hit enter, format it for you guys, and we're going to change the text of this one to get address, something like that. And the only other thing we need to do is it's trying to set it to the same button that we set here. So we're going to say set button 1 or set button 2, and that'll set the second button for us. And then let's just paste another one, get you guys a little bit familiar with the buttons here. I don't know, trying to just make a tutorial out of this, but I don't know. And here we go. So we have 3 buttons now, and we're just going to call this one option 3 for now, until I think of something to do for this option. And then all we're going to do is say alert.show, because we've created it but we haven't shown it yet, so we're just going to say .show, and there we go. There we go. Now our alert's going to show up, and it's basically going to create itself and then show every time we hold for longer than a second. And now what we're going to do is within this if statement, if all this stuff happens, we're going to return, return true. And that way, it's not super important, but that way we're going to return true if we go through this if statement, else we're going to return false. So let's run our application and make sure it works, hopefully. Otherwise I'm going to have to redo a few of these tutorials, but I'm hoping that's going to work here. Alright, so we have our map, and then if we hold and let go, for more than 3 seconds, or I'm sorry, a second and a half, this dialog comes up where it says pick an option. I told you to pick an option, and then we have 3 choices. All of them have on-click listeners attached to them, and as you can see, this get address and place pinpoint. What did I do here? Alright, well, the order of the buttons is a little bit messed up, but we're just gonna roll with it, you know. We're pretty chillax like that. And then we have all of our click listeners. But again, I mean, we're just gonna roll with it because we don't really care for the most part. But like, if they're trying to pan around, and you know, most likely they're holding for longer than a second and a half, so that dialog is gonna come up, which might cause a problem. But you know, our application is gonna do it. It doesn't matter. But if we just click for under a second like this, I'm just kind of clicking and dragging real quickly, our alert dialog doesn't come up. Again, it's only if it's for more than a second and a half. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Hope you understand a little bit more about this alert dialog. And also, if you want to change like the icon, you can also use a method like set icon, and you can see some of the other methods you can use with this alert dialog. But for this example, you know, pretty much covered the basics, some buttons and all that stuff. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Have a good one.